So yesterday I took a trade and this trade should have made me over $8,000. However, and I say a big however, it didn't because I was stopped out at break even. Now, I wasn't going to make this video because I personally didn't make any money on this trade, and I like to be as honest as I possibly can for you guys who watched the video. But every single member who was on my live trading call when I took the trade made money on this trade, which is absolutely insane because I didn't. So my members are actually doing better than me, at least for this trade. So fair play to them. I'm going to break it down anyway, just because a lot of my members did take it. And I personally did take the trade as well. It's just I moved to break even too soon. And unfortunately, I was stopped out. Okay, but if I hadn't have, then I would have made over $8,000 on my funded account. So let's go into the charts and break down this absolutely insane trade. Now, the first thing I want to show you guys before I break down this trade is that, as you can see right here, I was on a live trading call with my community. We had 15 people watching me trade live. I had my zone marked out. I sent it into the Discord of what I was wanting to take. And you can see right here, this is the after. Perfect reaction from our zone. And if I go to the wins, you'll see that every single member other than me took the trade and made a lot of money, okay? This guy took the trade. Reese has been with me for about 2, maybe 3 months now. He's 100K funded. He made $5,000 in a single day of trading. This is Olu, he took the trade. This is the before and after. Rowan took the trade. This guy took the trade. And there's a lot more wins as well that haven't actually been posted into the win section yet. But you guys get the point, okay? Yes, I missed the trade, but my community made money, so I can't really complain at all. I'm very happy that they made money because I'd rather them make money than me, to be honest. Like, I don't need the money, they do, and there's nothing that makes me feel better than making sure that they win, which is exactly what happened this week, because this is the only trade we've taken this week so far. We haven't taken any losses. We've not done any trading before Thursday, which is the day of the trade, and because of this, they are all up very nicely for the week, okay? It's just a shame that I didn't make any money on it, but sometimes, guys, that does happen in trading, and it is what it is, okay? But yeah, let's now go into the charts and break down this trade. Okay, so as you guys can see here, this is the trade that we ended up taking. I'm going to break it down in full detail so you can fully understand why I took the trade. But it was essentially our Asia range liquidity model, and it's the same exact strategy that I use every time I take a trade, okay? In fact, for the last 4 Thursdays in a row, this has won, okay? It is such an important strategy to understand, okay? Now, before I even break down the actual trade, as you guys can see here, the most important thing and how I'm able to have a 100% win rate, or very close to a 100% win rate, I'll be honest, it's not actually 100% because, of course, I do have break-evens and I do have losses, as you guys have seen from this video. This was a break-even trade, but it is very close to 90%, and the reason why is because I always use the higher time frame and I always wait for the best possible setups. And there's proof of this in my Discord, on my YouTube. You guys can see I'm very patient, and that is how I'm able to have such a high win rate and make so much money from this, okay? The strategy itself is fairly easy to understand, but it's understanding how to be patient enough to wait for those days where you are going to have your high probability setups, which do not come every day. People think that it comes every day, but trust me, it doesn't. And the way that you can differentiate the good from the bad days, or I should say the amazing from the average days, is from the higher time frame. So let's start by actually going on to the daily time frame, and I'm going to show you everything that allowed me to know this trade was going to play out, okay? So first things first right here, right? As we can see, we are reacting and respecting a daily supply area up here. This is a clear supply area because it shifted structure to the downside from this level right here, which means when price comes into it, we are waiting to see if it respects it. If it does respect it, like it did right here, that is our confirmation that price is probably going to keep heading lower to target the next point of liquidity, which in this case, and has actually done it yesterday, was this structural low down here and mitigating this daily fair value gap down here again, okay? So that was our target. We had the draw of liquidity being the external low, and we had the respect of the supply area up here on the daily time frame to signify that price actually wants to go lower. Until I saw this reaction here, I wouldn't have been looking for sells, right? But because the week before this one closed so bearish, and it closed, I think it was this candle here on Friday, that is how I knew that price would eventually continue going back down. And I said this to my community on the live call I do every single Sunday with them, breaking down my market predictions. I literally said exactly this, right? And it played out absolutely perfectly, okay? I said to them, I want us to come up first into this 4-hour fair value gap. And if we respect it, it is almost guaranteed that price will sell off to this low down here. And that is the move that we were looking to take. And then of course, after that low was taken out, it went to this low down here. Okay, so you can see it's all about framing the trades and understanding the higher time frame bias so that you're on the right side of the market. Because if you're not, then trust me, you're going to lose with this strategy, right? It's not as simple as just magically having a high win rate. You actually need to understand the higher time frame to enable the high win rate in the first place, okay? So many people who think they know my strategy, you don't actually know it because you're not using the most important part, which is a super detailed, and not just detailed, but accurate understanding of the higher time frame. It's very, very easy to just guess the higher time frame and hope you got it right, but to accurately predict it week on week is very, very, very hard to do, and only a few very good traders are able to do that, including myself, okay? So we can see right here, we were respecting this 4-hour fair value gap, and then that is when I started looking for sells. Now I'm going to drop to the 15-minute time frame and actually show you a few days before the trade happened, so you can understand why I avoided trading on Monday, Tuesday, and also Wednesday, which allowed me to trade on that one day being Thursday, right? And the reason why is because on Monday, right, I don't trade Mondays, and this is the exact reason why, okay? Price wants to go higher first on a Monday if you are looking for a bearish week. The reason why it wants to go higher is because in order for something to go lower, i.e. the market, it has to go higher first and grab liquidity and come into a key point of interest being the 4-hour fair value gap that I marked out on the Sunday before the week began. Okay, so I said to my community, and I actually said this on a live call I did on YouTube. So if you want to see even more proof of this, go and watch my live recording that I posted on YouTube. I did it live with you guys, and I said on that call, which I live streamed on YouTube on this channel, I'm not looking for sells right here. A lot of people on the live stream didn't understand why, but the reason is because price was drawn towards this 4-hour fair value gap up here, right? And that's how I knew to avoid sells and avoid a silly loss, which I know a lot of you guys would have taken right here. So Monday I didn't trade. Tuesday I would have potentially traded it. However, we had news at 9:30 right here, and as you can see, when the news came out at 9:30, it dumped straight towards our Asia low, and also it took out all the liquidity that was resting below these lows here, meaning there is now no liquidity to target to the downside on Tuesday because it was taken out by the news. And therefore I said to my community, that is the day done, we're finished, there's nothing else to do, leave it and wait for Wednesday. Okay, now on to Wednesday. What I was waiting for was our Asia high sweep and looking for sells. The reason why I'm looking for sells now is because we can clearly see we are holding this 4-hour fair value gap super well, right? Price is consolidating in here, we're not breaking through it to the upside, and I think from this point a sell-off is very, very likely to happen because we're consolidating in this, building up liquidity to eventually see a big move to the downside to target this low down here and all of the other lows that we have resting beneath, okay? So I said to them, I'm looking for sells after the Asia highs taken out on Wednesday, but as you can see, that did not happen, right? So I did not trade on Wednesday. I would have taken the trade on Wednesday if the Asia high had been swept, right? The Asia high would have been this high up here. If that was swept, then sure, I would have looked to take my sell because now the position is valid, as I only trade if the Asia high is taken out if I'm looking for sells, okay, which didn't happen, so therefore I did not trade on Wednesday. And my win rate for this, or my overall trades taken for this week, is still 0, okay, because I'm waiting for the best possible setup to occur, which hadn't happened yet, right? And it's also important to mention that I said to my community on this day, there was one guy who said, well, we've taken out the Asia low and we've taken out the liquidity resting below this low here as well. Should I look for buys? Hell no, bro. I said to him straight up, no, because we are respecting a 4-hour fair value gap to the downside and there's still liquidity resting below this low down here. So I said to him, buys are weak. Buyers are not in control. The selling pressure is very, very strong. So you do not want to look for buys. And we avoided a loss on Wednesday, which I guarantee some people watching this video would have taken because you don't understand how to actually use the higher time frame. Now, I realize I'm speaking very quick and I'm probably coming across quite harsh on this video, but that is the best way to learn, right? If I'm going to sit here and say to you, oh yeah, guys, you know, you can maybe improve this way and maybe try better next time, you know, you're not going to improve, right? I'm not that guy. I'm not going to just waste people's time. When I see someone needs help with something, I tell them straight up, this is your problem. This is the solution. Fix this. And then you're going to see results, right? That is exactly what I do. And that's exactly what I do for every single person inside of my group is I say to them, look, this is your problem. Fix this problem and you're going to be profitable, right? And that's the best thing to do. So his problem was he was looking for buys when the market is clearly bearish. I said to him, don't do that. And I think he avoided a loss on Wednesday because of what I said to him. Now, the winning day of the week and the only day I actually took the trade is Thursday, right here, as you can see. What ended up happening, okay? If I actually replay price, I want to do this live with you guys so you can fully understand my thought process throughout the entire thing. I literally did this live on a call with my community. So, you know, if you guys do want to watch me trade live every single day, then you should be in this community. If you're not, you're missing out on so much value because you can watch me trade live every single day. And instead of just watching one of these calls a week or however many I put on my YouTube, you can do this every single day and literally learn with me in real time. There is nothing more valuable than watching me trade live every single day, okay? It is literally the key to success, is having someone who's a very good trader trade with you every day because then you know exactly what to do, okay? I cannot stress this enough. It's so important, okay? I had a mentor, by the way. I'm not just trying to sell you something. I had a mentor, and that is the reason why I am where I am today, because mentorship is the key to success. Yes, you can learn for free on YouTube, which is why you're watching these videos, but if you're actually serious about becoming a trader and making thousands of dollars, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, investing in the mentorship is the best thing to do. Okay, rant over. Back to the analysis, right? I've had quite a few coffees, so I'm very, very on the ball today, as you guys can probably tell. But yeah, we had our 15-minute supply zone drawn out, and you can tell this is a very good supply zone, by the way, because look at the fair value gap on the 15-minute that was left from this area. That is a key of having, that's a key thing to have, which makes a supply zone valid, is a big fair value gap, because that shows you the selling pressure from this area is very, 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 very strong, right? Which is what we want to see. Now, we also had the previous day low liquidity resting below this low down here, okay? And we had structural liquidity resting below this low right here. So that was our target for the trade. And now it's just about waiting for 8 a.m. to begin, for London session to start, so that we can actually see some volume coming into the market. And of course, we waited for our Asia high to get taken out. And this is sort of the trade that I was looking to take, right? So now we are simply waiting for this to happen. But also, right? Also, the most, well, not the most important thing, but something very important that I also allow me to take the trade is the DXY, right? If I go back to the DXY, you can see right here, it was also respecting, I think, maybe an hourly. It was an hourly or 4 hour, maybe a 4 hour fair value gap, I think it was. Okay, you can see at the time of the trade, we were in this 4 hour fair value gap, and on the 15-minute, price was starting to reject from this area. Okay, if I skip forward a few candles, you'll see exactly what I mean by the rejection. Okay, and this is also another confluence which I use in my strategy. And you can see here, look at that buying pressure coming in, right? That buying pressure shows us that this 4 hour fair value gap is probably going to hold. And if this is holding, price wants to go higher on DXY and therefore lower on GU, which is another confluence, okay? So going back to GU now, right? Going back to GU, price has now started to move to the downside on GU. However, this move is happening before London session, so I'm not interested in taking the trade. So what I do is I wait for London session to begin, which is here at 8 a.m. So 8 a.m. is right here. And I say to my community, guys, we're going to wait for the Asia high to get taken out during the London session, and then we can look for sells because now we have all of our confluences being met. So I play out price, and you can see right here, the Asia high is taken out during the London session. And that is our confluence or final confluence to now take the trade. So this is our Asia high sweep. You can see right here, we're seeing a nice reaction from the supply zone. And I believe we get our entry somewhere around this point here, okay? Stop loss covering the high, and our target for this trade is this low right down here. I do not target the Asia low because the risk to reward is not good enough on this example. And therefore I look to the next low, which is going to be this low down here, okay? If I had taken this trade, like I said, I would have made $8,000 on my 200K account because I was going to risk 2%, and therefore a 1 to 4 is $8,000. However, I was stopped out at break even, as you guys will see. So if I play out price, actually it was literally, I'm trying to find out exactly where I was stopped out at break even. I think on the 5 minute it'll be more clear, because you can see there was a bit of a pullback that stopped me out. So I actually have my entry, I think it was, sorry, what is this? Get lost, right? I think I had my entry somewhere here, and then this is what I did, right? So I moved to break even here. It was a bit early, to be honest, and I don't really know why I did it so early. It is a mistake on my side of things, you know, which I don't normally do. I guess emotions got the better of me here, which they did. And, you know, sometimes it happens. I'm not a perfect trader. But yeah, it came back up, stopped me out break even. And then a few minutes later, or maybe like an hour later, it shot down to my take profit, as you guys can see, right? Now, that is just part of being a trader. You can't be right all the time. Or in fact, I mean, I was right, but I just didn't have complete control of my emotions, which no one can ever have. You know, we are humans at the end of the day. You can't always be in control of your emotions, okay? And that is exactly what happened here, unfortunately. And also, you guys will see, if I had held this trade to this low, that would have been about 1 to 6, I think. And that low was eventually taken out as well, which you guys can see right here, right? So it ended up tanking all the way down and actually going towards this low down here and into this fair value gap down here, which would have actually been an even bigger trade. I think if I actually held this entire thing, which I wouldn't have done, that would have been like a 1 to 20 or 1 to 15, which is absolutely ridiculous, okay? Absolutely insane. And that just goes to show you a few things, right? Just to summarize again, the higher time frame is super important. You have to be super patient and waiting for the higher time frame to actually play out, like we did, waiting for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday by not doing anything to then set us up perfectly for Thursday, okay? And also you need to have a good strategy. For example, my Asia range funding formula, as you guys can see right here, this strategy yet again has won. And if you look back at my previous videos, it's won every single week in a row, okay? Other than I think maybe last week, I don't think we saw that trade play out. I think that was a no trade week, I'm pretty sure. But other than that, for the last 3 or 4 weeks, every single Thursday, this exact trade has played out. Now, do not end the video, because it's very, very soon I'm going to be making a full breakdown of the 4 trades for four Thursdays in a row, break down every single one and showing you exactly why Thursday is the best possible trade to take, or the best possible day to trade based on this strategy, and showing you proof, my personal proof from my own accounts and also from my Discord members, and also on the live charts of how accurate this strategy is on a Thursday, okay? So make sure you guys are subscribed for that video, because that will quite literally change your life. And also, one more final time, if you've enjoyed the video, make sure to join my community, because I trade live every single day and you can catch the same setups as me on those live trading calls. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys on the next one. Bosh!